Hi guys, I just thought of something that was funny. Wasn't funny at the time, but now it is. I used to live on the north edge of Amarillo. That area was a town itself called Pleasant Valley, and the city kind of grew into it. But out there, it's rural. And people are allowed to have horses, cows, sheep. It's just a rural, R-U-R-A-L. I can't say that word. Anyway, almost every house out there had some kind of farm animal. I didn't. At the time, I had 3 dogs. Schnauzers. I lived in a trailer house. It had a chain link fence around it. Next to me, there were 3 other lots that the owner was trying to sell. And he had been there checking on his lots a lot. He knew that it was obvious I had 3 dogs. We had a doggy door. They were outside a lot. Well, one day I looked out the window and I saw him with another couple down at the farthest away lot from me. And he was obvious. He was pointing around, telling them something about the lot. And I didn't think anything else about it. I had looked out because the dogs were barking. So I went ahead and doing what I was doing, minding my own business. And then later that day, there was a knock on my door. And I didn't answer it because I don't answer the door if I'm not expecting somebody. Oh, I've got another story about that. Anyway, I was home from work, sick as a dog with the flu. I mean, really sick in bed. You know, the whole 9 yards. My nose was raw and red, coughing a lot, just really sick. Heard somebody knock on the door. Well, I wasn't going to get up and answer the door because I was in bed and I wasn't expecting anybody. So I didn't. In a few minutes, my phone rang. This is back when we had landlines. And I answered the phone, hello, because I'm all stepped up. And the lady said, this is animal control. There are 2 animal control officers outside your house knocking on your door. Could you please go talk to them? So, okay, I'm just so stopped up and got on my bathrobe, and went to answer the door. I assumed they were coming to, somebody complained about my dogs barking or something. Go out there, answer the door, and the 2 guys acted embarrassed to even be there. Honestly, they were. But one of them said, we've never had a situation like this before, and I'm not real sure how to handle it, but the man that owns these lots has reported you for throwing dog poop over the fence into his lot. I said, I have never thrown dog poop over the fence. I pick it up in a bucket and I put it in that dumpster right over there. And we talked a little bit more, and they seemed, pretty reluctant to do anything about it. And I was just so mad. By then I was so mad. I was sick in bed and, I have to deal with this. I said, let's go look at this poop. And they said, okay. So I get some shoes on. We walk over to the lots. There is poop all over the place. Big poop. I looked at him and I said, I see this and this and this and this. Do you think my little schnauzers did that? They said, no. The deal was, we were out almost in the country. Like I said, everybody had horses or other farm animals. And there was this one group that did the neatest thing. Now, we're on the far edge of town. I-40 goes right through the middle of our town, and it's quite a ways. I don't know how many miles it would be, but 5 or so, I guess. Anyway, there's this group. A man lets kids, they've got a riding club, I guess. And the man rides with them, everybody on horses. And his wife follows in a car down the street behind him, you know, really slow, stops. Right? And they ride all the way through town to the Dairy Queen on I-40, and then they get off their horses, go inside, and I guess have ice cream or something. I don't know. But they've done that every Saturday for years. So I said to these animal control officers, there's this group that rides horses through here all the time. And since this is the big vacant lot, they get off the street and they come up and ride in this lot. Actually, the man had 3 across this way, and then he had like 6 lots that way. So it was a huge chunk of land. So they would ride up on the vacant lot instead of in the street. I said, these kids, I said, you know the riding group that's always at Dairy Queen on Saturday with their horses outside? They ride through here every week. Does that look like it could be horse poop to you? They said, yeah, this is horse poop. And I said, well, I did not throw it over the fence, and my little schnauzers don't poop that much. I said, do you see any dog poop out here? No, I don't see any dog poop. I see a lot of horse poop. Oh, at the time, I was just livid because I was just so sick. Anyway, and then somebody called, I assume he called the police first, and they turned it over to animal control. I'm sure the police did not want to deal with poopy problems. What made me think of that story is on my phone, you know, have that Nextdoor app where people in your neighborhood can post things like, I've lost my dog, I've lost my cat, there's a big pothole on blah, blah street, you know, different things like that about the neighborhood. Well, I should have had this pulled up. Oh, well, I'll just tell you the story. This family had a child that was turning 11, and they had a birthday party for this girl. They said it's a real mellow party. The little girl invited one little girl to come, her 2 older sisters, and then the grandparents came. They got a knock on the door, and there was the police. A skunk had sprayed outside, and the smell was very overpowering when they opened the door. And these police officers are coughing. I mean, it was awful. They said, we have a report that you're having a wild party, and you're providing weed to people. So they explained they had some grandparents and their 11-year-old and her sisters and one friend, but they were not smoking weed. And meanwhile, the neighbors are standing out in their yard, I guess, to make sure they haul them off to jail. So he said, that is definitely a skunk smell, not weed. I would love to have seen the body cam on that police officer when he went across the street to tell those folks. That smell is skunk. And how anybody here could not know that, I don't know. I would love to have seen the video of that. Why I don't answer the door is because I live in a, like I've told you, my city's about 200,000. I lived in an apartment. Casey and I did. Casey and I lived together in an apartment. She was an adult, but not this one. And it was kind of in sort of a sketchy neighborhood. Well, one night, like at 9 o'clock at night, somebody knocks on the door. And Casey got up and I said, "Don't answer that door. Are you expecting anybody? It's 9 o'clock at night, pitch dark outside." "No, but they've knocked," she says. "That doesn't mean you have to answer it." But knowing more than Mom, she went to the door and opened the door, and there's this big guy out there selling watches. 9 o'clock at night. I told her, "See, you did not know who that was on the other side of the door. Don't answer the door if you don't know who's out there. If you're not expecting somebody, you're not obligated to answer a door just because somebody knocks on it." Okay, fine. Well, at that time, I just had one schnauzer, and we went to take him for his last bedtime walk. And we were on the sidewalk outside of the apartment complex, walking the dog, when here comes a police car. You know that big spotlight they have on the outside of their car at the driver's side window? Focused that light on us, which scared me, And he slowly drove up to us and he said, "We're looking for some people that are breaking into apartments, and we've been told that they're in this apartment complex somewhere. Have you seen anybody?" So I said, "Yeah, 9 o'clock, some big dude's knocking on the door wanting to sell a watch." I told Casey, "See, you do not answer the door if you don't know who's on the other side or you haven't been expecting somebody." One time, and I always say, keep your doors locked. Well, at that time, my other daughter and her 2 little boys lived in an apartment. And I told her, "You always keep the doors locked." Because I would go to her apartment and the door would be unlocked. I'd say, at that time, we lived in the same complex, me and my daughter Becky, but we were on like opposite ends of this complex. And so when I walked my dog, I would go by her apartment. I told her, "You need to keep these doors locked, and especially because you've got 2 little boys." "Oh no, that's not, oh Mom." "Toby, stop." Somebody's walking their dog outside my apartment. "Toby, come say hi. Come say hi." Anyway, she, not long after that, when I told her you should always keep these doors locked, she had a girlfriend come over to watch a movie with them. And it was, I don't know, it was getting towards midnight when they were still watching the movie. And they're in the living room, and somebody just opens her front door and walks in, and then looks really startled because somebody's in his apartment. It wasn't his apartment. It was my daughter's apartment. She and her friend, that's been her friend since elementary school, were just watching a movie. And this dude just walks in and he says, "Oh, I've got the wrong apartment." After that, she started locking the doors. I told her, he could have been an axe murderer. "Becky, you keep the doors locked." Well, that's my video for today. Oh, I'll tell you something else. I was on YouTube, you get other video suggestions or something that you're not subscribed to. Well, this one was like a news thing. I don't know what town it was in, what city, but they had a big skate park. Like kids take their skateboards and they have a big swooshy thing that they ride their skateboards up and down. It was at a place like that. And these two young men were there and handing out stickers, and one of them was working on his skateboard. He put a new board on it and he put new wheels on it. Evidently, that's all there is to fixing them up. And so these other kids came over to his car. Well, he and his friends skate there every day. They're sponsored skateboarders. And so everybody that skates at that park knows who they are. And these, I don't know, about 12-year-old boys came over to their car. And so he opened up the trunk and he said, let me give you my old skateboard equipment, which evidently is a typical thing that skateboarders do. When somebody gets new equipment, they give their old equipment to somebody that doesn't have something as good as theirs or have any. And so he's giving out these stickers and handing this kid a skateboard when a lady calls the cops. Actually, her husband called the cops. She comes over yelling at him, telling him she knows he's a pedophile. Pedophile. And her husband's calling the police, and he's not to leave because she knows what he's doing. He's tricking these kids. And he said, they came up to me. I didn't go try to get them to come to the car. He said, I'm a professional skateboarder. I come here every day and skate. And after she's yelling, and some other people, a man who's obviously a father of one of the kids, comes up and tells her, I know him. He's not a pedophile. He's just a skateboarder here at the skate park, sharing some stuff. But no, she called the police because he was handing out some stickers. I used to be married to a police officer, and I've only had one husband. The kid's dad that's been in the hospital with COVID, he was a police officer once upon a time. And I know they get calls like that, and they have to respond to calls, especially if it's something like, we've caught a pedophile. But they just get it back in the car and roll their eyes as they finish writing their report. Okay, guys, that's all I know for today. I did not throw horse poop over my fence. I don't have a horse. See ya.